It's a movie Monday on the Mark Arum Show. Movie music throughout the program. From one movie soundtrack at the end of the show, if you guess the movie, you win a prize. Discussing the untimely, tragic, sad passing of comic legend Harold Ramis. We'll continue to take your calls on that at 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. But I would be remiss if I didn't tip my hat down the radio dial to my buddies at the Regular Guys on Rock 100 this morning, pulling the lid over every media outlet from here to Istanbul. CNN, TMZ, every local TV station with their fake Beaver moving to Buckhead protest at 6 o'clock this morning. Genius radio. Tim Andrews, producer over there, my buddy. Well done, sir. Just well done. Hook, line, and sinker, everybody. And it's this kind of story that there's enough to believe that you think people would protest, that you would think that story could be real. But I had some questions about this when I thought this story was real. Like, what would that do to home values in the exclusive Blackland Road area of Buckhead? So anytime I have a question about real estate, I turn to the expert.
Duffy Realty, Duffy Realty of Atlanta.com.
Rhonda Duffy joining us live on the program. Rhonda, always a pleasure. How are you?
Thank you. How are you, Mark?
Excellent. Were you duped by this whole bit, too?
Not really. Leave it to any homeowner who wants to protect their property, and they could protest.
But it was believable, though, right?
It was totally believable.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've seen this happen before.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, give me an example, if you can.
Well, one thing that comes to mind is when homeowners start protesting the builder that they moved into their subdivision, and they'll put all over their windows Lemon Home.
Which means what?
Which means that the builder sucks.
Okay. Lemon Home. The builder
Lemon
sucks.
Home. Don't buy here. They stand out in the street. They, on Saturday and Sunday, shoo people away. So, yeah, people have done things like this before when they are angry about something that they perceive is going to hurt them.
All's fair in love, war, and the real estate biz, I guess.
That's right.
Have you ever heard of someone protesting a certain person moving into a neighborhood, though?
I can't think of a certain person like this. So that was a big deal.
Talking to Rhonda Duffy about the Bieber move to Buckhead and the radio prank this morning about the fake Buckhead Coalition protesting him moving into the neighborhood. My question is, Rhonda, you've sold more homes than anyone in Georgia, correct?
Correct.
What would Bieber do with moving to a neighborhood? What would that do to home values, do you think?
Well, in this particular neighborhood, this is Tuxedo Park, okay? That's what the neighborhood's called. And although it's not an official neighborhood, it doesn't have an association, it is called Tuxedo Park. Well, if he purchased that house is listed for $10,950,000. If he purchased that house, let's say for $10,500,000, okay? The last home in that neighborhood sold last year at $4 million.
Wow.
So if he purchased it at $10,500,000, everybody in the neighborhood should get down on their knees and kiss his feet.
Yeah, right? I mean, absolutely.
Because that really drives the value. Now, there's a couple homes in that area for sale. There's one listed at $14,900,000, then this one at $10,950,000, and then another one at $10 million, and then another one at $8,900,000. So they've got a lot of big mansions over there that need some action. And if Justin Bieber, took that on, there's some crazed fan and her mother that would probably move in somewhere next door, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, it will create a buzz. And I, too, have children, so I would be fearful of having someone like that there. But, who's to say he hasn't changed his ways?
Yeah, listen, I'm all for him moving to Atlanta. Listen, he spends money like a drunken sailor. He'd be great for the economy. Obviously, real estate in that neighborhood would go up. When this story first came out that there was a, quote, protest, I felt bad for the seller of whatever home he was allegedly buying. I'm like, let this guy sell a $10 million house. Leave him be.
Because this home was listed at $12 million, so this guy really wants a sale.
Zoinks.
So
there's a lot of that. Have you ever driven down West Paces Ferry recently, past the governor's mansion? There are a ton of those mansions for sale.
That's right, and they need some action over there. So if it takes Justin Bieber causing that action, then I'm sure some of those homeowners would be delighted.
I would love for him to buy the home next to the governor's mansion. That would be Absolutely fantastic.
Well, they certainly have enough security around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can handle it.
Absolutely. We're talking to Rhonda Duffy, Duffy Realty, about the Bieber moving to Buckhead story. Now, Rhonda, you have a unique way of selling and buying houses. So if Biebs went to Duffy Realty, how much money could he save on a $10 million purchase?
Oh, my gosh. Well, if he sold it with us, he would really save a lot, but I don't think he cares about that, nor does he care about buying. But one of the key things, when people talk about protecting themselves against what they perceive as danger, or they have a fear about a certain neighbor, one of the things that we do that's very unique in the real estate market is we go and talk to neighbors before our buyers purchase.
Really?
Yes.
That's pretty smart.
We would really uncover, hey, you're living next to Justin Bieber or Justin Bieber's girlfriend or whoever, right? And then they could make an educated decision. And I think that's a really important thing when you're talking about fear. Of course, when you buy a house, you can't control who moves in after.
Yeah.
But you can certainly control who your neighbors are if you do a little due diligence about searching out who these folks are.
Well,
so I think that's really important.
Biebs, if you're listing, $500 listing fee. 0.5% of 1% at closing, my pal.
1/3 of 1%.
1/3 of 1%. Holy smokes.
1/3 of 1%. Sold 1,446 homes last year alone.
Bless your heart. I'm going to need you soon, Rhonda. I got to upgrade. I got to get a place with a yard soon.
All right.
Yeah.
Not a problem. And we'll go investigate all the neighbors as well. How about that?
Absolutely. Rhonda Duffy from DuffyRealty.com.
Duffy Realty, Duffy Realty of Atlanta.com.
I sing that jingle every morning in the traffic center, by the way.
Well, I appreciate that. I like that. You could just get on. Is there any way I could just get you on and you just sing that on air?
I could sing it. You'd probably lose business if I sang it, but...
Well, okay. we could put one of those voiceovers on you.
There you go. We'll get like Bieber does with the... they mess with the voice. Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, have you ever been to one of his concerts? Have you ever had that pleasure? Do you have anybody he would drag you there? No,
but I did meet him once back before he was super uber popular, and he seemed like a nice kid back in the day.
Well, we went to the Jingle Ball last year, and he really is a good performer.
Oh, no doubt. Listen.
Yeah, he really has a lot of talent. But anyway, thanks for having me on, Mark.
Rhonda, how can folks learn more about your services?
Go to DuffyRealtyOfAtlanta.com.
Duffy Realty, Duffy Realty of Atlanta.com.
Oh, yeah. Thanks a lot, Rhonda.
Thanks, Mark. Bye.
Take care. Rhonda Duffy, real estate expert of the Mark Arum Show.